everyone, or no one. Again, we're still in the beginnings of this, and we'll see what happens, or if nothing happens. That's totally okay, because we're just here to read the Bible for the first time in my life. So, that's what we're going with. This Bible message is brought to you with a touch of sadness. Cheers. You know when you get excited about somebody and then it doesn't work out or they let you down in some way? Yeah, that happened. But good thing I didn't fall head over heels. I just tripped a little bit and I caught myself. So it's just a smidge of sadness about the idea of it. Because if you really look back, like, so if anybody ever gets caught up where they're just like, oh my gosh, you know, I really liked this person and it's not going to work out and blah, 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 just take a deep breath and then look back at the conversations or the interactions and see how much effort was actually there. So what I tripped over was an idea of what could have been. That was super exciting. I was like ready, you know, to like have fun and be excited and do all the things, like where I like imagine a whole life and trips together and, you know, stuff like that. Good thing I didn't do that. Like I said, I didn't fall head over heels. I just tripped. Okay, moving on, because you guys didn't ask. Just over here offering up things because, well, I'm a big communicator, and if I sound a little sad, I wanted to tell you why. That was all. Oh, wow. Okay. So, in case you didn't catch it, I used to do this thing where I would act like the Bible is like a magic 8-ball and I would just like pick it up and drop it and wherever it fell, that's what we would read. And not that I think God cares that I did that, maybe. It could come across as like a little disrespectful, you know, like people took time, and this was back before technology, obviously, when the Bible was written, and the Bible was written over like I don't know, hundreds of years or something by various different people, and then I'm over here acting like it's a magic 8-ball. So, you know, I decided instead that I'll just pick it up and put my thumbs in there and open it, and whatever we open to, that's what we're gonna go with. So I did that, and you saw me flip a page because there's nothing on, like, so this is the book of Matthew, but there's like nothing on, like no verses on it, because it's one of those like study Bibles. So as I get better at reading through the Bible, and like maybe we can start answering some questions that I have or that others have, instead of always having to seek an elder after reading this. Because first timer over here. All right, so we're gonna go with Matthew chapter 1 verse 18. Oh, I thought it was raining for a sec. It did snow earlier this morning, which was super fun. Okay, verse 18, the birth of Jesus Christ. This is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. His mother Mary, ooh, this is a good one. His mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be with child through the Holy Spirit. I'm sorry. I'm laughing a little bit because like people always make jokes about that, and I'm sure you've seen them. So moving on. Because Joseph, her husband, was a righteous man and did not want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in mind to divorce her quietly. See, yeah, that's a big one I mean, can you imagine? You go and you tell your husband, yeah, I'm knocked up, but it wasn't me. So, I get it, Joseph. I get where you're coming from. But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. Interesting. That would probably be a really hard pill to swallow. I mean, I feel like if you get visited by an angel, though, that like that's kind of a big deal. And I don't. So there's been lots of stories about angels and demons walking the earth and people having interactions with them and things like that. And so it must be like a feeling, because how do you know? So I feel like maybe I've interacted with angels and demons in my lifetime. I mean, by this age that I am, odds are I've ran into a few. But it's not like, they're not like coming to like tell me anything or like be in my face or whatever. So it must be a feeling for Joseph to understand that, hey, like actually this is real. It's not a big deal. Mary didn't step out on me. Like, she still loves me, etc., etc. All right, moving on. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. That's a big ask. That's a big ask. I mean, because if you can just think, okay, so if you're the kind of person that has tried to live a perfect life your whole life, right? From a young age, and you're just like, I do everything like by the book and I do everything perfectly, odds are you've still been angry, you've still been mean to somebody, you've still had road rage, you know, like you maybe forgot to pay a bill and then just like didn't ever pay it at all. That's kind of a form of stealing, I think. Could be wrong, don't quote me. It feels like it would be though. And well, you entered into a contract saying that you would pay the bill and then you didn't. So not giving, like taking your word away from somebody and not keeping your word is not great. And so, yeah, like even if you've done all of those things, like, and you've lived a perfect life minus the things that I put on my fingers, it's still a sin, you know, like, and you're like still human. You're only human. So for Jesus to come down here and then be like, oh yeah, let me just take on the sins of the world. And the ones that I counted on my fingers are like super mild, obviously. But if you think about how many people live in this world, billions, and everything that you hear about on the news that you don't want to hear about because it's like really not nice. Like, people are out here like being mean to each other and doing horrible things. And you hear about all of those things and you're just like, my gosh, Jesus came down here and was just like, yeah, let me just forgive everyone for all of those horrible things that they're about to do, and then die. Whoa. If you think about it on like a deep theoretical level, which is really hard to record because it's more of like a candid conversation when you're talking to somebody else with their own theories on how things work. It's intense. Okay, as always, thanks for listening or not listening, you know, and I'm happy to be here regardless. So, the end, and be blessed.